and someone who is very active in honoring first responders, honoring police, honoring firefighters, and still remembering those souls that were lost on 9/11 is Laurie Kosztrewski. She's joining us on the live line now. And Laurie organizes the Flags on the Bridge. It's where every single year on 9/11, Laurie organizes, and also through your Facebook group, 9/11 Remembrance. It's a big one, too, because I know, Laurie, you promote this yearly event on your Facebook page. She's joining us live on the live line now. And Laurie, thank you so much for joining us. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Stefan and Mike. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us what began over 20 years ago when you had the thought, okay, some way, somehow, I'm going to start remembering those, almost 3,000 souls that lost their lives on 9/11 and honoring first responders by taking a flag on the bridge over the Mychajliw Expressway. What was the impetus behind it?
Well, first of all, I think for just about every one of us, it was a terrible day. Something that in our whole lives, we can say it was nothing we've ever seen or experienced in our lives. And it affected so many people right there at ground zero at one time. 2,977 victims. That included people that just went to work in the morning, and then the first responders, the firemen and policemen. 26 of those people were right from Western New York, or they may not have lived here, but they were from here, and they lived in different spaces, and some of them did live here. It was an enormously traumatic event, and it did affect me that way. And I didn't feel that left in the footprints of it, I could just do nothing. It became on my heart to commemorate this day, to remember it, to honor those who still, who are here for us now in the present and will be in the future. So it took me a while, and I lived right in that area of the pedestrian bridge, which crosses over from Nottingham Terrace to Hoyt Lake. It crosses over the 198, the Mychajliw Expressway. And so anyway, I thought about it, and I do pray, and I think it was God that put it on my heart. There's a bridge there, a bridge that represents unity. Bridges represent unity. It faces in two different directions. You walk on it in two different directions, so you have a semblance of a compass there, and that has a lot of meaning. And there's practically speaking, no traffic on it. So except for pedestrian and some bike traffic. And that was good to be there because you weren't interrupted by the cars and trucks. So the first year actually was 2003. So it was not 1 year, but 2 years after. And I went with my flag, took it out, and stood on that bridge. And I got a lot of people remembering that day because I could tell they were honking their horns. Yep, that's the day. Today's September 11th. And that's what seeded the idea. And from there, every year, it spread a little bit more and a little bit more. And the following year, I invited the fire department, then the Buffalo Police Department, and the commissioners willingly gave permission to our firehouse and our D district over in North Buffalo to participate. Then I started inviting all the branches of the military, and we here in Buffalo have our Marine and Navy Reserve at the foot of Porter. We have the Coast Guard on Furman Boulevard. Toughest one was, where's my Army coming from? And I know they're not around. There's just a couple of places. And lo and behold, for the 20th anniversary, I got my wish, and the Army came in force, the Army and Air Force, from our Niagara Falls reserve base. And actually, it's not even a reserve, it's an Air Force base up in Niagara Falls. And there we had it.
What a beautiful blessing in that respect, to say the
yeah,
least.
Absolutely.
How has this grown over? I mean, now it's what was that? 19 years ago you started this. So how many people were at maybe the first one, and how many people were there yesterday?
Well, it's now 20 years with the 21st year, and it was just me at first, as I just said.
Yep.
And there were a few people the first year. There was mainly our police and fire, but a few people, my family would come and help me out. And it grows, and depending on the day of the week, because people work, and it's hard to come out during the weekday. There would be a few people. There's some faithful people that come every year, and so there'd be maybe 20 people or more. And the 10-year anniversary was great. I believe that landed on a weekend too. I had a tremendous turnout, and we had people. I love when they bring their children, because they get to see all the firemen and policemen and military in their uniforms, and it's kind of nice, kind of fun, and they get to do something very patriotic. Last year was really fantastic. Stefan, I think you come a lot of years, and I'm sure you were there. I think you were there last year.
Yeah, almost every year, including my son Maxim. We brought him on Sunday as well.
I know, it was so cute. I loved it. There were people. There were so many on that bridge. I was glad it didn't fall down. I call it the swirly bridge, because the design is that it curls around on the entrance and exits. There were people standing all the way down to the ground on that bridge the last year, and that's what we had. But what I also really, one of the very important reasons that it exists there, that this event happens there, is the awareness it creates. So much traffic drives underneath it, and people may not even realize, what day it is, and they see what's up there, and it's amazing the awareness it creates.
And from your perspective, Laurie, why is it so important every single year to make sure that people see the American flag? They see police officers, they see firefighters, they see members of the military, specifically on 9/11. As an American, why is it important to you to make sure that we never forget every single year?
Okay, well, the American flag, part of what it represents are just exactly those people on the bridge. These first responders and this military are a very important part of the American flag. That's the part of our country that protects us, that takes care of us, that allows us to live the lives we live here in America. They're the ones that facilitate our freedom, because they protect us. And if people think of that, if we don't have that, if we don't feel safe, if we are not protected, well, we would lose our wars, right? On a larger perspective. And we would also lose our communities and our neighborhoods. So that's why it's very important. And particularly now, right now, where I thought after September 11th, it would make us better. Something's happened that has evolved, that suddenly we don't always, in certain parts of our country, in some cities, don't feel that safe anymore. And so now we're walking a thin line. And I think that every year that this happens, it's more important to raise that level of recognition.
And I know you're very active on social media. You're very active on Facebook. I am also a member of the 9/11 Remembrance Facebook group page. How important is at least that aspect, where it's not just on 9/11, where you're honoring the memory of these individuals that lost their lives and those that serve, whereas throughout the year, you're able to promote the event on the 9/11 Remembrance page?
Well, I'm going to confess something. I'm not that good at social media. I don't have a Twitter account. I do have an Instagram and my Facebook, and I do what I can. I mostly that page becomes active closer over the summer, closer to the event. But for some reason this year, we have some momentum. And we had a great spread in the regional section of the Buffalo News today that was dominated by photos of that event, and then the article about different events that happened around the community. So that tells me that there's a move or something to keep this awareness this year more so than I think many years past. so I think that's helping me out. I'm always reaching out for people to help me. And just today, I'm looking on my Facebook, and you have passed it along several of my friends, and they have helped really the people that really have a bigger outreach than I even do. And I think probably if I did, I would have many more people coming to the bridge on September 11th.